We're Group 35, and today we will be presenting our research proposal for FCD800 research methods. Our project is titled the Mixed Methods Research Proposal: How Study Environments Affect Students' Work Efficiency. My name is Yu, and together with my group members, we will go through our topic, research questions, methodology, and overall study design. Our study focuses on the relationship between study environments and students' work efficiency. We're interested in how different physical and sensory conditions such as lighting, noise, temperature, and room layout shape a student's ability to concentrate, stay motivated, and complete academic tasks. Because students have studied in so many different places, understanding what makes a study environment effective is becoming increasingly important. This topic matters because the quality of a study environment can directly influence academic performance. When the space is uncomfortable or distracting, students often find it harder to focus and remain productive. As hybrid learning becomes more common, students are constantly moving between the library and residence or cafes and their homes. So, identifying which environmental conditions support work efficiency can help students make better choices and help institutions improve academic spaces. Our research is also relevant at the border level. Universities invest heavily in campus design, but they don't always have student-centered evidence about which environmental factors matter the most. By studying this relationship, we can contribute ideas that help improve study spaces, support student well-being, and promote learning equity. This research also adds to existing work in areas like environmental psychology and educational design. To investigate this topic, we're using a mixed methods design. This means we're combining quantitative data from surveys with qualitative insights from interviews. The mixed approach allows us to capture both the measurable patterns, such as which factors predict higher efficiency, and the personal experience that explain why certain environments work better for different students. Our participants will be 40 to 50 undergraduate students from different facilities at Toronto Metropolitan University. We're using propositive sampling to ensure we include students who study in a variety of environments, including a library, residence, cafes, study room, and at home, etc. This can help us capture a wide range of study habits and preferences. For our quantitative data, we're developing a survey which like the Likert scale questions that measure environmental comfort, perceived efficiency, motivation, and ease of focus. We also ask about students' study habits, for example, where they prefer to study and at what time of the day. For the qualitative part, we will conduct 15 to 20 minutes to do the semi-structured interviews. These interviews gave students space to describe their experience in different environments, how distractions or discomfort affect their work, and what strategy they use to improve their study space. To ensure the study is ethical, all participants will provide informed consent, and participation will be completely voluntary. We will not collect any identifying information, and the study poses minimal risk because we are working with human participants. This project also required REB review.
All right, let's move on to the research question I am focusing on. First, the main question is I want to figure out how different factors in the study or work environment affects the college students and the teenager efficiency, things like the physical stuff, like the noise, temperature, and the nature view, whatever is the online or offline or hybrid, and the time management tools like the Pomodoro technique. Then I have a few specific sub-questions. Number one is how do those temperature and nature window views link up with the learning efficiency? The second one is does a blend of Philip classroom work way differently than a traditional way for students' learning efficiency and confidence? The last one is can the Pomodoro technique, like the 25-minute focus section, actually boost the teenagers' task completion and concentration? This is the core of what I'm looking to. So the next, let's break down how we are definitely the key parts of the study. The first, the work and the learning environment. We are looking at the physical factors like the noise. We will call the low noise like the 40 decibels or less, and the high noise like the 60 decibels or more. The temperature will stay between the 18 to the 24 degrees, and we will note if there's the nature window light. We will also testing the different learning models, like the in-person, like the online, like the hybrids and the fitted classroom. And for the time management, we will compose and the Pomodoro techniques, like the 25 minutes of the work plus the 5 minutes break, against just the working into with the no set schedule. Then we will about the work efficiency. We will measure this in a few ways. How many tasks someone finish per hour, like the exercise or words writing, how they feel about the efficiencies on a 1 to 5 scale. And their focus, we will check how accurate and fast they are on attention test. Finally, the study subjects are students aged 16 to 24, so that includes teenager and college undergrads. All right, let's talk about why this research is actually doable. First off, this study matters. We are looking at the how and where and how you study, like the noise, temperature, if you are in class or online, and how you manage time, if it's the how productive you are. That's a real issue for teenagers and college students. So it's not just about the academic, it's useful in the real life too. The second one, I think we are got the good research for the back us up. We check the databases like the PubMed and ERAC, which have the studies on noise, temperature, and the different classroom setups. We are using a mix of the surveys, focused tests, and casual interviews. These are tried and tested in education research. In the last one, we are got the team and the resources. Our group sped up all the work from the background reading to doing interviews. Plus, we are at the Toronto Metropolitan University, so we can get the study volunteers very easily. Use the tools like the SPSS and NVivo for data, and get the green light for the boss. Basically, we are got the people and the staff we need to pull this off.
Next, I will present the literature review. Research consistently shows that the physical study environment has a strong influence on students' learning efficiency. Studies found that access to natural window views can boost mood and focus. Comfortable indoor temperature supports better concentration and perceived productivity. Noise exposure, even background noise, can reduce comprehension, memory, and reading performance. In addition, lighting, air quality, and acoustics all play important roles in shaping academic performance. Together, these findings show that environmental conditions directly impact how effectively students can study. Beyond the physical environment, study behaviors and learning methods also influence efficiency. Supportive indoor spaces help students stay focused during both individual and collaborative work. Structured breaks, such as the Pomodoro method, can reduce mental fatigue and help students regulate their effort better. Different teaching formats like VR lessons, blended learning, and flipped classrooms has been shown to improve student engagement and performance. Research also suggests that the design of online learning environments impact academic outcomes. This finding highlights that both environment and study habits shape overall work efficiency.
Although many studies look at environmental or behavioral factors, most examine only one factor at a time, such as noise, lighting, or temperature. Very few studies explore how multiple factors work together to influence learning efficiency. Most existing research focuses on traditional classrooms and workplaces, rather than students' self-chosen study spaces like the library, home, or cafes, and only limited research directly connects the overall study environment to actual working efficiency. Our study aims to address this gap by examining multiple environmental factors and their combined impact on students' productivity. Our study uses two data collection methods, an online survey and short follow-up interviews. The survey includes four main sections: study environment conditions, working efficiency indicators, study habits, and students' mood and motivation. It uses a 5-point Likert scale and takes about 5 to 7 minutes to complete. We aim to recruit between 100 and 150 university students. After the survey, we will invite 8 to 12 volunteers to participate in brief semi-structured interviews lasting 5 to 10 minutes. These interviews help us understand students' personal experiences and provide context for the survey results. Our data collection follows four steps. First, participants give consent for the survey, and a separate consent is collected for those who join the interviews. Second, students complete an anonymous online survey through Google Forms or Qualtrics, and all responses are stored securely. Third, we conduct follow-up interviews online or in person, use audio notes only, and without collecting identifying information. These interviews help explain patterns and appear in the survey data. Finally, the survey will run for 2 weeks, followed by one additional week for interview. This study is minimal risk, and confidentiality and voluntary withdrawal are guaranteed.
And next, I'll briefly introduce our quantitative research design. First, for our variables, we divided them into independent and dependent variables. Our independent variables include physical study environment factors such as noise level, lighting type, temperature, comfort, seating comfort, and study location. We also looked at study habits, including break style, whether students use the Pomodoro technique in their learning mode, like in-person, online, hybrid, or flipped classes. Finally, we measured psychological factors such as mood and motivation. Our dependence variable, which is represent our efficiency, include concentration score, task speed measured as tasks per hour, and perceived productive. All of these can be observed, measured, and analyzed numerically. For measurement methods, more subjective perceptions were collected using 1 to 5 Likert scale, where variable like lighting type, study location, break style, and learning mood were categorical. Task speed served as our behavior measure because it reflects actual performance. In terms of analysis, we plan to run descriptive statistics to summarize overall patterns, such as means and frequencies. Then, we will conduct group comparisons, for example, comparing productivity across learning modes or across different study locations like home, library, or cafes. For the qualitative part of our project, we use the semantic analysis, which fits well with our 15-20 minute semi-structured interviews. This approach helps us identify patterns in students' experiences across different study environments and explains how physical and environmental factors influence work efficiency. Our interviews focused on 3 areas: experiences in different study spaces, environmental distractions or discomfort, and the strategies students use to improve their study environment. Following Brown and Clark's framework, we first familiarized ourselves with the transcripts, then conducted open coding to capture ideas related to discomfort, emotions, and self-regulation. We grouped related codes into categories such as barriers to concentration or comfort-enhancing conditions and developed broader themes showing how comfort, distraction, and motivation shape efficiency. For our project timeline, we organized the work into 5 phases across 9 weeks. In weeks 1 and 2, we focused on research design, finalizing our questions, defining variables, and creating both the survey and interview guide. Week 3 covered ethics and piloting, where we prepared consent materials, tested the survey, and revised it based on feedback. Weeks 4 to 6 were dedicated to data collection, launching the online survey for the quantitative phase, and then conducting 10 to 12 semi-structured interviews for the qualitative phase. In weeks 7 and 8, we analyzed the data, running statistical tests for the quantitative results, and coding interview transcripts for qualitative themes. Finally, in week 9, we integrated both datasets, used triangulation to strengthen our conclusions, and prepared our final report and presentation.
Then, let's talk about the possible roadblocks we might hit and how we are gonna get around them. First of all, we can get in a good mix of the volunteers. Our age range is 16 to 24, right? Which is pretty wide, so we might end up with too many of the one group. To fix that, we will separate them into the teenagers teams, like 16 to 18, and the college student, they are 19 to 24, and make sure we get at the least 150 people in each group, so it's very fair. Second, we need to control the environment. It's so hard to keep noise or temperature exactly the same for everyone. So we need to use the tools like the sound meters and the thermometers to measure actually what's going on. And then we will also set clear rules for things like the classroom types and the time management ways, so no one's just guessing what to do. And last one and the third one, we need to mix up the different types of the data can get confusing. So we will use the triangulation trick. First, we will use the numbers to support key patterns, then do interviews to figure out why those patterns happen. We will also use the tools like the NVivo and SPSS to make sure all the data plays nice together. Thanks.